Itadori Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen is hard work, and Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia is talent, or something like that. Talent versus hard work is a pretty niche piece of online anime discourse that exists to compare and contrast different types of character power. To start, what does talent even mean? Well, if we just utilize the tools we have available, okay, it's natural aptitude. Well, in this example, is Izuku Midoriya natural aptitude? You know, the kid who was quite literally born naturally weaker than 80% of the population, and the only reason why he got any chance at all was because he was given a power. That power, by the way, could not be utilized properly immediately, causing him to blow up his limbs extremely violently and painfully, to the point where he had to limit himself and spend the next year of his life training to use just 45% of it. On its face, wouldn't really say that that is natural aptitude. That's being given an opportunity and working twice as hard as anybody else to catch up. Okay, now let's look at the other example. Hard work is a great deal of effort or endurance. Of course, I'm not going to say that Itadori Yuji had to do no hard work whatsoever, but it's impossible to deny his elevated starting platform. Even before getting engrossed in the Jujutsu world, he was extremely, superhumanly strong to the point that people in his school life pointed out his absurd power. He took to cursed energy manipulation pretty quickly. He was out there hitting consecutive black flashes in Season 1 before 90% of her cast hit a single one. It's very clear that there was always something unusual with Itadori, some enhanced natural baseline, but there is something more important than separating these two characters into arbitrary talents versus hard work labels. The fact is that these two things can coexist. There is no situation where talent alone can carry someone without hard work. Nearly every human being on this planet has a natural aptitude for something. They just need to find that talent and put in the effort to turn it into something greater. Naruto, the series that ruined a generation, somehow had people coming away from the Rock Lee vs. Gaara fight with this idea that hard work will always trump talent, and that this would be a core theme of the series. Fun fact, Kakashi explicitly stated that Rock Lee being able to open the fifth gate is an accomplishment that is impossible through hard work alone, but I guess we will just ignore that. The point of the hard work versus talent theme is that talent alone will not get you anywhere if you do not put in the work to prop up that aptitude. That without your own personal efforts you will not make the progress you wish to see, and even you can lose to a jobber. Midoriya, to an extent, was also talented, in that he had an extremely analytical mind and an insane perseverance to keep going even after One For All was basically designed to blow him up. If given to another quirkless nobody, I don't think they would have followed in his same steps or had the same gall. Itadori, to an extent, also put in hard work. If he didn't put in the training required, his usage of cursed energy would have still been extremely lackluster, probably only having Divergent Fist up his sleeve. He had to put in the work to learn all that, as well as to understand the basic tenets of landing a Black Flash. There is an issue that arises as these stories continue, however, and the line between what people would perceive as hard work and talent gets blurred. As the power level of a series increases, so too does the amount of conflation between these concepts. Surely Midoriya had to do no hard work because he just so happened to end up unlocking the other quirks along the way, for example. Or as Naruto happened to get all of these crazy new powers, people would consider him all talent, or basically only powerful because of his origin. This power creep could potentially explain why this conversation happens to begin with, but to be honest, I don't really think so. Let's ask probably the most important question of this video. Who gives a shit? I think the reason why these conversations happen is far more simple. This is going to sound weird, but I don't think the discussion is about the discussion. I don't think it ever has been. If it was, why would people be making these insanely, highly factually inaccurate charts? What these talent versus hard work charts come down to is a feeling that people have. A feeling of having to justify why they like something. You'll see this all over the internet, people grasping at reasons to prove why something they enjoy is good. In this instance, societally, hard work is more socially appealing than talent. Hard work shows passion, it shows dedication, it shows self-discipline. Of course, my favorite had to do hard work. Why would they be a product of purely natural aptitude, when the trait of being hardworking is far more appealing? Ultimately, it's just a value argument. People always feel that they need some value for why they like what they like. That's why you'll see Demon Slayer fans use their series sales to gas it. That's why you'll see JJK fans talk about how much depth their story has, or how it's darker and more mature than the series, therefore it's better. That's why you'll see Chainsaw Man fans bring up its female cast. That is why you'll see every anime fan under the sun talking about objectivity, because it's never enough to just enjoy something and that's it. Just enjoying something and having pride in media you enjoy is something people struggle with. They end up intertwining those things they enjoy so much with their own personality or sense of identity, so when someone comes by and criticizes it for any particular reason, it feels like a personal invalidation of their character, and they reach for what they believe to be objective metrics to protect themselves. Keegan's theory of adult development comes from Robert Keegan, a former Harvard psychologist who charted the 5 distinct developmental stages of an adult. According to Keegan, 65% never make it past stage 3. It's not a hard-line rule like you as a human being are at stage 3, it's more like a spectrum. And to transition into more of an adult, one must shift from a more subject-oriented view to an object-oriented view, to take control of or to be able to reflect upon. Stage 1 is the impulsive mind, generally what you'll see in children. Stage 2 is the imperial mind, people who put their own needs in full focus. And Stage 3, where most people are, is defined by those adults taking the opinions and beliefs of those around them to heart. Or as Natalie Murad put it, we experience ourselves as a function of how others experience us. We take an external view of ourselves, like, oh, they'll think I look stupid, and make it a part of our internal experience, therefore, I am stupid. Stage 3 adults will seek external validation as a method of defining their sense of self. This can take form in average everyday encounters, like putting a lot of stock in a grade you get at school, or waiting to hear what other people might think about a piece of art you enjoyed. That is to say, people's enjoyment of a series can often come down to other people's expectations, which sounds strange when you verbalize it. It's also important to note that humans are extremely social animals. Many friendships or social bonds are formed over shared interests. So when people find validation from other people's perspectives, not only can their sense of self feel at risk, so too can the bonds they have formed. It's like the validity of those connections are being attacked. Thus begins an arbitrary cycle of criticism, and then people defending it using the most absurd arguments to justify why they like a thing. Take, for example, our previous example of using a series sales chart to defend it. You criticize an aspect of my favorite media or say it's not very good, well, screw you, the sales number is really big. It's a standard appeal to popularity. If a lot of people like my thing, then surely nothing about it can be lacking. If you attack a thing that a lot of people like, then surely you are attacking the validity of liking it as well. Or what you might have seen as a couple days ago, people using Jujutsu Kaisen winning a lot of anime awards to say that it's the best modern anime. As someone who has been pretty critical of My Hero Academia's direction for the past few years, as I'm sure most of you know, believe me when I say I know firsthand the consequences of being critical of something. I don't have many screenshots anymore because YouTube auto-deletes a lot of them, but I have people following me essentially to the ends of the earth to try and get into contact with me. People I've made clear I have no interest in speaking with because it's very clear that they have too much skin in the game. People will make entire posts shitting on my existence, or people offhandedly saying I should be bombed. Not that I take that as a serious threat, because it's clearly not, but the levels of hyperbole people are willing to go to because I said I don't like a comic book goes to show you the amount of parasocial buildup that can happen for being critical. I also, on the flip side, have first-hand experience of the opposite. When I was younger and more invested in My Hero Academia, I would spend a lot of time defending it like it was my job. Mostly because I was trying to make it my job, content creation and all that, but also because I felt like it didn't deserve it, and I probably made too much of my life about this cartoon. I like to think I have grown up pretty significantly from that time. A lot of this anime community discourse just spawns from young people who feel the need to fight for agendas. Praise for a series often comes at the cost of another. We all like to make jokes about Boruto and Black Clover, but holy shit, those guys are getting beat down all the time as a tool to praise other art. I like to call it agenda brain, where in an effort to push something you like, your brain just kind of deactivates when it comes to other series. People fail to apply the same level of critical thinking or nuance one might use for their favorite, as opposed to the competition, like MHA versus JJK discussions. I mean, just stop and think why factually untrue statements, like Midoriya being only talent, exist in the first place. Think about why this video exists. And these conversations are not coming from a place of good faith. We talked about stage 3 of Keegan's theory of adult development, but the next stage is stage 4, a self-authoring mind. As Natalie Murad put it once again, quote, "We can define who we are and not be defined by other people. We understand that we are a person with thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that are independent from the standards and expectations of our environment. We can now distinguish the opinions of others from our own opinions to formulate our own seat of judgment." This video isn't to say that you can't defend things you like from criticisms you think are unfair. It's more so to bring attention to the fact that it's okay to like things, and it's also okay to not like things, and you are more than the things you like. There's a cognitive bias called the negativity bias. Something very positive will have less of an impact on a person's behavior and cognition than something equally emotional but negative. You could be in a community of like-minded people that all frequently gas up the same shit you do, yet because a couple of people might post criticism, you feel like you're being attacked, even though it's just one or two people in a sea of thousands. Next time you see some stuff like this, just think about where it's coming from, and maybe it's not even worth engaging with. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the funny YouTube algorithm. You can also become a YouTube member, which gives you access to behind-the-scenes content, a badge on comments and livestream chats, as well as the use of emotes and videos before their actual release. You can also check the description for socials like Twitter, where I'm objectively correct all the time, and Discord, where we talk about ReZero, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, and stuff like that. That's about it though. Thank you for watching. See ya.